progress is going on with the AI adoption in human resources especially. We're not talking about other domain, but human resources only. So if you look at the journey of AI adoption, so in 2024 there has been a couple of studies, and according to these studies there has been around 23% to 25% adoption in human resources. In 25 we have seen around 48%, 50% max to max, that is the adoption. In 2026 we have seen the adoption, which is also reflecting in our research, that is around 61%, 62%, that is the adoption of AI in human resources. Apart from this, in this study, we also tried to find it out that function-wise, how the HROs are adopting this technology, this artificial intelligence, and what are the industries. So I would like to present a couple of slides, then we can open this discussion. So as I said, in 2026, there is a 61%. The organization, when the question is asked, is your organization using AI in human resources? So 61% people are saying yes, they are using the artificial intelligence in human resources. And 39%, this is hard to digest, still 39% organizations are not implementing AI in human resources. Let us see next. So at what stage your organization is adopting the AI? So if you look at the journey, as I said, in 2024, it has been in pilot stage. In 2025, also nearly to pilot experimental stage. Then in 2026, if you see, this survey is from 2026, so most of the companies are saying we are in emerging stage right now, but it's still not much expanding or scaled kind of. Coming to the next slide now, so if you look at the HR areas, HR functions, so where do we see the maximum uses, the maximum adoption of the artificial intelligence? So there are a lot of studies, and we also do find almost similar that around 77-80% the adoption is into the talent acquisition, and second that is L&D, performance management. So these are the findings, and if you look at the impact, how the HR leaders are looking at the impact, how it is impactful. So still it is moderate. So we can't say it is no impact, but yeah, it is moderate, not significant, not the transformation. Next, if you look at the challenges, what the challenges are in adopting the artificial intelligence. So the findings are, because artificial intelligence, that is based on data, so data is also very important, so we put also this question there. And apart from this, the skills, how you upgrade, how you upskill your workforce, that is a challenge. So that is the main challenge what we see in this report. And apart from this, also the leadership, legacy system, as Mr. Romesh was also talking about. And budget, yeah, that is also one of the constant, but major challenge, that is the lack of skills. If you look at the industry-wise, so obviously this is our technology, so IT and tech, that is on top, around 80%, 90% IT and tech companies, they are adopting the AI, then BFSI, then healthcare, manufacturing, energy, construction. So this is how we see in manufacturing as well. We can see the good adoption that is on good scale right now. So this is a brief report what we have created on this. So on the basis of this report, I would like to understand from the esteemed panelists, how do you see, maybe I start with Mr. Subrat. So how do you see, what is the stage right now, where we are right now? Is still pilot, experimental, as the report is talking about in emerging, what is your point of view? And maybe if you can add also your point of view from the manufacturing industry, how it is taking space in manufacturing industry.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you, Insight Plus, for getting us together. A very good presentation from Zindas, though I could just go on for the later part. In my response, you will see 2-3 flavors. The flavor number one, for a very long time I worked for an IT services company. So you will see that flavor. For last 11 years, I was outside the country in other geographies. So you will see a little bit of that flavor as well. And then last few months, I'm heading a group, which is a conglomerate of pretty much every sector which was shown. And why I'm saying so is perhaps there's no company today in the world which is not part of IT company, right? So, this segmentation of manufacturing, retail, XYZ is evaporating very fast. So let me start with a reset. I think one of the very pertinent questions is where the adoption is, and if it is not happening, why it is not happening. I think across the board, whether the graphs seem very tall for IT, quite naturally, they do part of it for their business proposition and part of it because of that, a part of pilot for themselves. I think there also, if you double click, besides the traditional areas of recruiting where it all started, I think there is a journey still. In that sense, what I see here in my current, or the industry I represent, if not the company, I see no difference. The reason for that is two. First, the IT companies, of course, had the lead because they had the resources, they had the capability, and they had the tools to do it. Over the period of time, if you see, the cost of experimentation, maturity of product in the market, offerings in the market has become a lot more sharper. So that barrier of having the resources to experiment is no advantage to anybody right now. Right? There's very little barrier of cost, very little barrier of availability of technology. Then we have to ask, what's the barrier then? And that brings us to the root of the discussion. That ultimately it is about the maturity of the processes you have and the quality of data you hold. Because otherwise, the AI will just produce the same garbage and looking better, perhaps do 100% faster, but it's not going to be of any use. And I think universally across the board, I see, a major part of my career has been in HR tech, both on consulting side as well as, that being leading the technology, HR tech within the company. I think these are the two areas where we as HR professionals have to do an immense amount of work. Is to work on the predictability of our processes first before we even attempt to do AI. The second, a little bit subtle point beyond process and data is also a little bit of a psychological barrier I see, because any adoption of technology actually makes you vulnerable to expose yourself in terms of showing your back end to your stakeholders. And I do see that also as a barrier of lack of readiness of HR to expose itself to their stakeholders. Because the moment you experiment with technology of this kind, you have to be prepared that you will have to lose some controls. You can't be the power center because you are sitting on top of the data, and because your laptop makes you the most important person in the room. If we are not ready to give up that mindset, these experiments will fail. I think I'll leave it there right now. Let's see what alternate point of views are.
I think very nicely you have put your experience from also the tech background and also with the current human manufacturing industry.
And just so that we don't feel that we are left behind, I promised you I'll give you a global perspective. I tell you it is no different anywhere in the world, right? So whatever buzz you are hearing, maybe they tell the story better than us, but the story is pretty much same flow.
Right. So coming to Bhavna Group now, so with your industry that is a kind of fintech or fintech securities kind of, how do you see adoption in your industry currently and where do we are right now according to your industry and overall perspective?
Yeah, I think we have a bit of an advantage because technology in general, artificial intelligence is only the newest tool in technology. Before long, we'll be talking about quantum. So that's the fun thing about human beings, right? We sometimes make our shiny new toys bigger than the objective that they are meant to solve. So technology has been a way of life. The organization that I'm part of is fundamentally data benchmarks, indices, ratings company. Over the years, embedment of technology has become a way of life for us. And when something becomes a way of life, it permeates all functions. It permeates your ways of working. I really resonate with the point that you made on don't throw technology without solving for the foundation. So this journey of, and I know that it's fashionable to talk about AI, but technology readiness is a journey in organizations. Just like you don't run a marathon one morning because you woke up that morning and said, I'm going to do a 10K today. You train for it, you prep for it. Similarly, organizations prepare the soil for being ready for technology adoption. They pick it up step by step and they make it happen. I think in our experience, what I will say is, when it comes to foundational processes, there the adoption of technology can give tremendous efficiency gains. Sushil and I were speaking a little earlier before we began, and we were talking about policies, right? Our HR policy manuals tend to be several hundred pages. I know I haven't read a HR policy manual, even though my team puts it together in several years. And nobody should need to, right? So when you have a chatbot who can have a conversation, whether voice or text, with an employee and answer their questions in the context in which they are operating, that's when technology is helping you to create efficiency. And that's something that we are actively doing, right? Through chats, through conversations, etc. Another example of, of simplifying things is, what is your insight layer on top of your data? So big assumption that your data is clean and it exists in the same way, right? So for example, gender is captured in exactly the same way in every part of the organization. Age is captured in exactly the same way. All demographics are captured in exactly the same way. But assuming that your data is clean, what then, right? Just dealing with data is pretty foundational. What is the insight? Do you still have to have a HR team that spends 1 week really everybody working to pull a deck together which has 50 pages and lots of insights? Or do you have an intelligence layer that sits on top of your data which can, at the click of a button, give you foundational insights which you can then use with your business leaders in conversation to really look at what does this mean for us, right? And that is something that we are actively doing because organization health cannot be looked at once in 6 months or once in a year and you feel happy and confident that you're doing okay, right? Between the time you go to sleep and the time that you wake up, a lot changes in the world. And a lot changes, therefore, in organizational realities, right? So the intelligence layer is the second example that I'll talk about. The third example that I will talk about, and this is where, at least for my organization, we are investing in a big way, is the skills mindset is absolutely vital. We live in a world where skills, as opposed to hierarchy, grade levels, educational certifications, etc., are assuming more and more significance. Are we at a stage where everything else is going to be forgotten and only skills will be focused on? Perhaps not. We're still in the infancy. But how do you create a strong backend to support a skills-based ecosystem? Right from your job architecture, and does your job architecture only take care of human beings or human beings and agents? Is your hiring process only taking care of traditionally defined job descriptions which perhaps haven't been rewritten in 10 years? Or are they recent? Are you using every possible mode to explore what skills you need to bring in? Are you linking your development ecosystem again to skills as opposed to stage of growth, stage of seniority in the organization? And then finally, and this will take some time to come in, but are you compensating for skills? Those are all really important questions, and that is where we are in our journey as well of maturity.
That's great, that is great. So, Kunal, coming to you now, so as you see, it's still 39%. I know you belong to IT and tech, so obviously the adoption is very high. How do you see why these industries are lagging behind, and what is the journey in your IT and tech for the AI adoption?
Okay. Yeah, it's working. So yes, I belong to an IT company. We are primarily into digital engineering and also product development. Historically, we have been known for developing a lot of in-house tools and all that, right? Now with the work they're coming in, and the major challenge that we have been facing, and to a large extent we have tried to overcome that, is these various tools do not interact much with each other. So that's a big problem. We are trying to sort it out. And of course, there's a lot of buy-in from the senior leadership, because when this AI came in, there was a proper focus from our leadership team that everyone has to be AI literate. So a lot of effort coming in, and almost 100% of our people are AI literate. And there are multiple interventions as far as AI learning is concerned right now going on, right? AI interventions for managers, for software developers, for leaders, all sort of, right? So the aim is that in next 1 year, we should be fully equipped with what is happening on AI front. So, and we are not just limiting ourselves to just AI, Gen AI, agentic AI, all sort of new terminologies, technologies, everything is coming up, right? So that's one. So if you look at the overall, the maturity framework, we are also at the same level or stage that other companies are at actually. So we are at, of course, in the CISL model, we are still experimenting, right? So we are yet to move up and scale ourselves or maybe institutionalize, and we right now to talk about even leading that AI journey, right? So a lot of interventions we have taken. So we have tried to take a lot of HR processes backed by AI, right from the hiring. So AI-based hiring. We have done good work on the learning and career piece as well. So that's again an in-house tool, but it has been backed by AI. So just to give you more idea around the learning and the career piece is that, especially if I talk about the career piece, we have our own tool called GlobalLogic Career Navigator. So what does the tool does is, it gives you an insight, because we primarily are very young workforce, right? We are like 35,000 people globally, and we have to keep our people engaged. So how do we give them a clear view of how their career is moving, right? So from career path, career level A to B, how they can move. So what the tool does is, and a lot of data has been fed into the system, and of course there are some AI has been also applied. So if I want to know how do I move from level A to B, I just need to go into the tool and give that command, and it will give me multiple paths which I can follow in order to move to that level. So with each path there is a customized learning need, competencies, behaviors, and all of that comes automatically, and one can follow that, right? So this is giving us a very good result, and we are seeing a lot of people internally moving from one one project, one skill set to another and all that, right? So that's one. Second, on the learning part, again, that's an in-house tool. We call it as GlobalLogic Learning Experience. That's the Netflix of learning for us. Okay, so, and we have partnered with LinkedIn and other platforms, and we can just pick, the level that we are at, and it will automatically give me what are the training programs available in different forums, different platforms, and it will keep a track. Managers can assign trainings and all that, right? So it's a complete, learning cycle that it really covers, right? So a lot of work happening. Of course, the chatbot and all are very common nowadays. So we are still riding that journey, and hopefully with this rigor and support from the leadership team, because we have a lot of leadership support and investment going on.
Thank you. So just Viekas K Khokha has joined us in the CHRO from Srivastava Motor Industries. So Viekas, we are talking about the adoption of AI in human resources. So we have presented a slide. And if you look at the numbers right now, so we are at the emerging stage currently. If you look at the industries, around 46% people saying that they are in emerging stage. What is your take on this? How do you see the adoption of AI in your industry, manufacturing, and previously you have been also with a couple of great companies. So what is your thought on this?
Sure, thanks. First of all, thanks for accepting me to join late because I got stuck with something. We are actually auto component manufacturers, supplying to some of the major auto manufacturers like Hyundai, Kia, Tata, Mahindra, and Volvo. And if you are driving any one of these, we are inside that as exhaust and emission systems, and now very into suspension also. Our prime objective is primarily to scale up our workforce to be able to meet the needs of our customer. Our customer is just sitting next to us. Our plants are just besides these plants of these auto majors. So we have always been constantly monitored by them. So the trigger for AI also came through our customer. A while back when we had a Hyundai visit, and they said that, what are you doing about AI? And you can't see the change at the bottom of the pyramid till the top changes. And first our leader, who's third generation promoter, a young entrepreneur, had to be brought in. I think it did take him time because he's a young guy. He understands that the world is moving in that direction. So we had AI agentic and regenerative workshop for him conducted, and so was done for all the leadership. I mean, what I'm trying to say, that trigger came in from one of our customers. Second, when we look at the matrices, I think the first matrix that we would like to hit is reduce number of accidents on the ground. There is a sheet metal industry. Accidents happen, can also cause human loss, and they can be big disasters. So the idea is that first is our attempt is to reduce the number of accidents by creating relevant automation, and automation can be one exercise through system, other is through skills. So we started this Sharda Motor Industries Employee Academy, which is High Academy, which primarily talks of how skills have to change now, adapting and adopting this automation system. And this particular workshop has really helped us to assimilate slowly and steadily the automated systems on the floor. That is first thing. Now, second is our workforce is also very cyclic. Suppose there was Tata Tigor, which was not selling that much as Tata Safari now. So we need to scale up our workforce immediately, and this blue-collar work or contractual workforce also is being managed through AI generator. And that is something that we are trying to position on the ground so that we get a right perspective of who's required and how much is required in future. So it's more of a forecast of labor that we also get through AI generator. The third part is about the people on the ground and management. So we are trying to graduate them to talk this language, and language is very different when it comes to AI. People are not used to that in our manufacturing space. We have traditionally been growing like that, and we are a zero-debt company. We've done financially very well. But I think time is now that we start having global competition, and we also are addressing global markets through Indian plants. So our plants have to talk that language. So it's very important that relevant coaching is done